Hello and good day. It is that time of the month again. It's time for some father talk. Get your fatherly advice, just being shared, just being open and willing to share just some of my thoughts on what's been a great help to me. So today we're going to get into something a little different, topic that is explored but not often explored, but can have a very strong and powerful effect, especially when you talk about relationships between a parent and their children. And that's the pickup and the assertion of mentors. Who are you looking at that encourages you, inspires you to want to be better, to do more? Or when you look at them, it may be in within the realm and the field that you're working on, the things that you like to do. So you watch them to see how they do things so that you can build in a similar mode, similar fashion. And one big thing, one huge thing about mentors, please, whether it's encouraging your kids to get a mentor, whether it's you yourself having a mentor, do not allow yourself or do not allow your kids to become so engrossed with that person, that individual, that they become lost in that person or that individual. So you learn from the concepts and the things that they do that makes them successful, that makes you admire them, what it is, the principles associated with them that says, okay, look at how they do this. And that's part of why they're successful. Look at how they handle themselves in different situations. Those kinds of things are going to be helpful to you. But don't try to emulate them so much that you lose yourself in the process. Don't become a little clone of somebody else and then you become non-existent. And that's one of the things that some people become so engrossed, so infatuated with somebody else. They see their success, they see their fame, they see what they're able to create and generate. And what do? They want to be the exact copycat of that person, doing things exactly the same way, wearing things exactly the same way, speaking in exactly the same manner. That's not the intent. When you gain a mentor, that's supposed to be somebody, one, that urges and encourages you to become a better you, to get the most out of yourself, regardless of what your current situation may be. When you see, you spend time. And here's the thing, mentors, yes, it's good to have a mentor that you can talk to, somebody that you can reach out to that will help influence the realm of your thinking. If you have somebody that is close to you, but it's like, okay, they've reached a level of success that I haven't. So I want to get close to them so I can see and I can experience this type of success for myself. Then there you go. That's great. That's wonderful. That's powerful. That's charging. That's the kind of influence that you want somebody to have, that you can talk to them, you can reach out and tangibly get a hold of them, especially when you need to, when you're facing something that's a little difficult, that you're unsure of, that's new for you. And you need somebody to help you to relate, to understand how to deal with that situation. That's good. That's powerful. That is a help. But when you become so engrossed, so overdone with someone and how they do things. Here's an example. Back in the early 90s, there was a big debate, and it came down to Charles Barkley. And he's like, I'm not your I shouldn't be your child's I'm sorry, I'm forgetting exactly how he phrased it, but basically he said, I'm not trying to be somebody's father figure. I'm just out here playing ball. And he got a lot of flack for that because he wasn't concerned about his actions as far as how things were going to be interpreted, especially by parents whose kids are watching him like, ooh, I want to be just like, and especially when we're dealing with kids, kids gravitate to the people that they see and to the things that they see, especially in social media and on television. So be leery. Understand again, it's important to be active in your child's lives and to know who it is that moves them, because people can be in all sorts of kind of realms. So it's just not the entertainers, the actors and the actresses, the rappers, the singers. It's just not the athletes. But let's be honest and let's be real. It's politicians. I mean, how would you feel being a little girl and the first female vice president is now up and they're promoting that so immensely, that the first female vice president, the first female to be an elected official within the White House, as far as president, vice president. And you're seeing this. And then there was just a few years ago, you nearly had the first female president of the United States of America. How powerful is that when you see that as a young girl, young lady, and it's like, I can strive to be just like who she is. I can strive. If I want to be president, it's possible. On a personal note, just about this influence and these people, these individuals. When Barack Obama became president, I sat there and I watched as much as I possibly could of the final vote tallies and how everything came in. Why? Because as a child, I never thought I would see the day when there would be a Black president. I'm just being frank, being plain, being honest. With the state of where the country was and the things that I had gone through and experienced early on in life, I never thought I would see the day where that would be an actual happening, where that would be something that would come to pass. So it is important. It is pivotal. Honestly, it's critical to know the different people, the different individuals that our children have their eyes on. Who grabs their attention? Why? Because your children are going to move in that very same direction. And also, honestly, children need to know who you're interested in following, who grabs your attention, who, whether for their story, their activity, the way that they carry and they handle themselves, the way that they deal with their families, or whatever factor it is, who it is that influences you, encourages you, builds you up, makes you feel like if I do things similarly to the way that they did things, then I too will find great success. Who are those persons? Who are those people? Who's encouraging you? Because if you introduce them for the same reasons that they work for you, it may just have the same effect on your children. Consider that. So the people that you like to listen to, the people whose books or magazines or articles you like to read, the people who maybe do things even on social media, and it's like, I follow this person because I find their information engaging, and here's other reasons why. That is going to be significant, especially when you present it to your children. Because again, you're letting them see the world from your perspective or perspectives. They're coming to understand more about you through the things that influence you. Doesn't that make sense? Because, and the thing is, here's another reason why mentors are so huge. Because sometimes, and this is just true, sometimes children won't receive the same information they get from their parents, but they'll receive it better from somebody else. Why? Because that's not mommy or daddy. Because most of the time when I'm dealing with mommy and daddy is on me for the things that I haven't done, or I should have done, or I could have done. Whereas this other individual or person is introducing something to me and I receive it as fact. I receive it as truth. Here's another example of mentorship. And it just, again, it's understanding just how it affects people, how it moves people, how we relate to it, how we deal with it. And so I believe, yeah, right at the turn of the century, right at the start of the 2000s, everybody started coming out. The whole movement was going on. WWJD, what would Jesus do? And everybody, wristbands everywhere and bumper stickers. And what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? Again, that's just an example of mentorship. And just, again, the thought of you can have a mentor, somebody that you associate with, that you never actually come in contact with. How many people have taken, especially after his death, how many people have taken on the Mamba mentality to reference and develop themselves in a similar manner to Kobe Bryant, especially after his passing? Now, he was doing all kinds of things while he was still living along those same lines, but it became, even for some people, their mantra, their, you could say, their mission statement, the way in which they set themselves up to live based upon the Mamba mentality. And so that's why mentorship is such a powerful thing. It helps give you guidance and it helps give insight to being a more effective you. Just simply a more effective, successful, better version of yourself. And so encouraging your kids to find their mentors, that's good. That is good, because that gives them, especially if it can be it. Now, please hear me when I say this. It can be somebody of their own age, somebody in their own, you could say, circle, group, somebody that they feel they can connect with and go to, especially with problems, and understanding that I share with you because I feel that you have insight concerning the things that I want to talk about, or whether you feel like that person is enriched with knowledge and wisdom, or if it's just a specific field or area. Like, a lot of people have friends, or a friend specifically, who is very tech savvy. For me, I know that when it comes to sound and sound layout, presentation, DJing, and things of that nature, I can go to my younger brother because that is his field of expertise. And I have used him to mentor me in some of those things when it comes to even doing items like this. So you don't have to be just stuck with one mentor and not just be the one person that you can go to. You can, again, it's almost like having tools in the tool belt, that you know that you can go to different people and they can help lead and guide you, because those areas are strengths for them. Whereas you might have knowledge, but your knowledge is limited. And so why would you, as the old adage say, cut your nose despite your face? Why would you cut yourself off, limit yourself, when there are people around you who know more and know better than you do? That's just going to be beneficial in adding to your life, not limiting and taking away from your life. You want the best life, best experience that you can have. So in that, it's gleaning, taking what comes from other people and using that to help booster and foster and encourage who you are. So as a result, you need to take and have into practice those people, those things that they will help you with everything that you're doing. That's going to be a plus. That's going to be an aid. That's going to be a strength. So know that that's going to be something that, hey, it's doing good for me. It's doing good for my kids. It's helping our entire household. Those are the kinds of things that you want to see. And having those mentors, having those go-to people. Like a lot of times there are people that you'll come in contact with who have better understandings in the area, in the realm of law. And so it's like, hey, how do I get this done? How do I get this set up? How? And they will tell you what's going to be best for you in getting those things done, in having those things implemented, in moving in those directions. Because honestly, it's just going to be helpful. It's just going to be beneficial. So, and that leads to another aspect of mentorship, being willing to learn and to listen. That is one of the biggest things. Why? Because sometimes, especially and I'm saying this being a man, sometimes it's hard to know and understand and to face the fact that, you know what? I don't know everything. I'm not the master expert when it comes to whatever. And especially, and I'm going to say this too, teenagers are to a point and to a place where a lot of times they feel like they know, even though you're the parent and you're like, you don't know yet. You think you know, but you don't know. You think you got it down, but you really don't. You think you got it all the way there, but you're really not. Those are the kind of things that, man, it's when it just thinking about it and knowing and understanding that there were so many times, especially growing up, where I refused to listen just because I knew for sure I had a better way. I had a better way. And then come to find out I was positively, absolutely, totally wrong. Hearing, listening, being teachable are critical aspects, not only in having a mentor, but even in just having friends. Because how hard is it to talk to somebody who just refuses to listen, who you're trying to engage with and talk to, relate to? But it's like as soon as you start talking to them, they just run off with the conversation. And you're just sitting there like, huh? Can I get at least just a couple words in? Huh? And so we want to have those who can help us relate to different parts and portions of our life, those who we want to have impact us where we are. So we've got to be willing to listen. You just can't be so much of a go-getter that even as people are trying to help, that you want to have people that you can bounce things off of. And let me throw in something else too. Don't look for yes people. People who are who admire you so much that the only thing they ever answer to any question, any concern, any issue you have is just yes. They're just going to agree with you. Why? Because it's not going to challenge you to think. It's not going to challenge you to be creative and come up with solutions to various problems that may pop up along the way. You're just caught up in all they're saying is yes, 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 yes. And they're not adding to you. Sometimes when you hear something different, it like starts getting the gears in motion, and now all of a sudden you're thinking about something else. You're taking into consideration another perspective, or they're bringing up something that maybe you didn't consider. Sometimes we can get so gung-ho with what we see, what we're doing, and it's like, I can run, I can do this, I can do this, I can do. Oh, that's a very interesting point that you bring up there. Something for me, something more for me to consider. So I'm just not running and I'm getting my head bashed up against the wall because I refuse to listen. I'm just gone. And the worst thing that happens when you're running and you're running so hard is to hit something. That hurts like nothing else. So be willing to listen and be willing to share. Be willing to share. Because another aspect that's so powerful, so critical about having mentors is that they'll only know what you give them. And they'll only be able to deal most times. Some of them will know you and understand you to a point and to a place that they can, just by talking to you, they don't even have to see you, but just talking to you, they'll know, okay, something's off, something's not right, something's wrong. Let's back it up. Let's start dealing with this thing. So be willing to share, be willing to impart where you are, be willing to impart your knowledge or even the steps, what you've done, where you've come from, where you're trying to go, and where you are, so that they have an understanding and can kind of help you connect the dots to say, okay, here's what's working. Here's what's not working. Here's where we're trying to get to, and here's where we are. So now you've got common ground, commonality, as far as, okay, what's going on? What are the hiccups? What are the disappointments? What different things are coming up before you, upon you? What's limiting you from experiencing and having everything that you want to be going on and happening? And sometimes you really need to have those conversations. And sometimes we need to have those same conversations with our kids, because kids sometimes don't bring things to the table until they start to get questioned. So a kid won't tell you, hey, I'm hurting, I'm having a hard time dealing with this, whether at home, at school, in the neighborhood, on my job, wherever I'm at, and this is coming up before me, and it's trepidatious, it's difficult for me to deal with this matter. Sometimes you may have to dig a little, because do we want to impact and empower our children in their lives? Yes. Sometimes will they be the biggest help in doing so? No. Sometimes kids are just standoffish. You're trying to help them. You're trying to help relate to them and get them to understand, yes, I know I'm dad, but I'm really trying to help you see this for all that it truly is. That it's just not what you termed it to be right here, but it's so much more, and how you can deal with it. And so, yeah, kids are just going to be kids. Growth and development. So we have to try and communicate to them, be those leaders that they're looking for, help them in those places, help them with those decisions that they need to make in order to know and understand, hey, this is what is going to be beneficial to you. So just consider this. You may not have looked at it before. And the thing is, sometimes it's just planting a thought and leaving them with that. Let them see a different perspective and give them time to just mill on that for a minute. You just eat and chew on that for a little while, so that okay, yeah, this, all right, I see something a little different. I'm thinking about it differently. It's bringing up It's alerting my consciousness. It's causing me to really start to ponder more than I was doing before. This is what's going to help. This is what's going to really put that drive in a person. So, mentors, friends, people in your circle, people in your lane who are just going to help bring things out of you, who are going to help encourage you. They're vital. They're vital and they're necessary, and they can do each of us a lot of good. So here's the key to mentors. Know yourself and do what you can to get to know them. Because the right mentor is an asset, is a total asset to your life. And they will help you be and become and build. But the wrong type of mentor will dry you out, will drain you, and will deplete you. So literally, depending on what you do, know yourself, know yourself, know yourself. That's most critical. Because then you can really determine, is this really the person for me? Is this the person that's going to help me? It almost sounds like dating advice. But yeah, is this person, for the type of person that I am and the things that I'm trying to do, is this person really going to help me achieve and see and do and be what I want to become, where I see myself, where I'm headed? Is this the right person? Is what they're doing or what I'm trying to associate with them, is that going to help me in becoming who I hope it is to become? Really honestly ask yourself that. Know and understand if this person is really for your good. Is what they're about going to help me, going to help establish me, going to help benefit me, going to help me generate some positivity, some lasting effects, some momentum in my life, because I'm associating with how they do things, with who they are. So it doesn't matter what area of life you may find them in. They can be an entertainer, they can be an athlete, they can be a politician, they can be somebody who's socially active in your community or that you've seen. I mean, you can take lessons from off of anybody that you choose to and use to sculpt and cultivate your future based on what you've learned from them. And the thing is, life is a continual process. We are all constantly growing and evolving. We're all constantly becoming more and more, shaping our lives, our future, around what we want to see. So those individuals, those people who are giving us that instruction, that direction, those life lessons that are aiding us, we need to make sure that we're showing and telling those same stories, situations, and circumstances also to our children. And then find out who it is that they're gauging themselves behind, who it is that they've taken notice of, and why. Why is it that this person interests you? Why is it that they are influencing you? What is it about how they do things that's so different from everybody else that it's really caught your eye, that it's grabbed a hold of your mind, and you pay close attention to what they do? Who are those people? Who are those individuals? And what is so synonymous about them to you that makes you want to just keep them on your mind? That it keeps you revisiting who they are and what they've currently done. And again, Again, we've got to be in our kids' lives to know who it is that has influenced us and why. What is it about this person that just stands out? And it stands out to you. So why is it so important to you? And as parents, we want to make sure that they understand that it's okay to have interest in this person. But again, don't let them begin to dominate your life. Don't let your pursuit of what you see about them be so great that everything in life becomes about being exactly like this person. You are created as an individual. Let you shine out. You can take some of what they've done, some of their successes, some of the principles they've taken in life, some of the ways in which they do things. Learn from them. But don't try to become exactly like them. You have to do things in the way in which you can find success for yourself. And that's what's going to make you a positively influential, a positively powerful person. When you can just learn from others, see yourself in those situations, and know how to apply them for your own life. And also encourage your children, find those who interest you. You want to do that. And then once you find your interest, why? Okay, what is it that they've done? And then once you've got the what, build. Build. Make your life better. Find your footing, find your grounding on those things that are going to help you become the best version of yourself. And plus, the other thing that helps is that, too, when you have a reference point, a resource, a person that you can go to and share things with, so that you're not bearing that burden of things that you deal with by yourself all the time. Do you know sometimes how good it is just to get all that stuff up off you? Allow yourself just a few moments to just breathe, because you're not taking all this in on your own. You're not doing all this by yourself. You got somebody when it's like, and sometimes, and it's not always about them taking your side. Again, we don't always need yes men. Sometimes we just need somebody to hear us and to give us another point of view. So we're not trying to sit there and just do everything on our own. I can do this. Then you wore out before the day is even halfway over with. Quit trying to be He-Man. You're not built for it. Sometimes you need those persons. It could be an individual, could be a group of friends or family members, even sometimes co-workers, who are really looking out for what's best for you and can help to advise you on the ways, the steps, and the directions that you need to take. So please bear that in mind. Give yourself opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to succeed. And I encourage you, if you don't have a mentor, get one, get two, get three. Get some people who you either see or that are close to you. And it's like, they've got successes that I want. So let me learn from them and see how they got there. If you know of a family who is like, in your mind, it's like the perfect ideal situation. The husband and the wife are okay, are great. The children are okay and great. Ask them if you can just sit down and have a cup of coffee sometime and learn. And you pay for the coffee. What is it that you do that makes you successful as a husband? Deal as a father. What are the different things that, because I see you and it seems like you and your wife are great, and you and your kids are great, and you on the job is great. You can have mentors on the job. People who have been there for a while, who are successful, who understand how things work and can go to them, hey, I got a problem. Because honestly, you don't need to be discussing everything with HR. And sometimes it's just good to have a point of reference. Okay, yeah, I've seen this, I've dealt with this, or I've seen how the company deals with this, and here's what you need to do. Here's who you need to go talk to. Here's what you may want to consider about this situation. Those people who give you a point of reference, perspective, it's great. It's great. It's the difference between slamming your head up against the wall and sometimes gaining understanding where you can, whoa, okay, let's take our time and let's look at this. Let's observe the entire situation before we just jump up and run. And now, bam, ran into something now. And so sometimes, honestly, we just need the help. We just need to have people that we can go to. So again, don't just think you're in this thing on your own. Because when you start thinking about that, you're thinking about nobody knows what I'm going through. Nobody can relate to me. Nobody understands me. Nobody feels what I feel. Nobody's ever had things as bad as I do. And what happens? And things will just, your viewpoint, even on life, period, will get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Situations will constantly just be taking you over and taking you down. And then just in life in general, you'll start hitting survival mode, where it's just, I don't have an expectation of how things can be. I'm just trying to get through this moment and get to the next. Good, bad, happy, sad, everything in between. I don't care. I'm just trying to get past this moment so I can get to whatever it is that comes next. Then I'll try to survive that. And that's a rough way to live. So get yourself some mentors. Encourage your kids to get themselves some mentors. Get some people who you feel are worth following and encourage them to do the same. And even, here's another point of bonding. Even take the time, whereas when you're watching that person or you're with that person, bring a kid or your kids along so they can hear and understand, okay, so this is why you like, yep, that's it. That is it. So that's just going to help. It's going to just help you. It's going to help encourage them. And again, with kids, sometimes they just refuse. And I'm sorry to say it like this. Sometimes kids just refuse to receive things from their parents. So they need to hear it from someone else, from another source. And unfortunately, they will accept it from somebody else before they'll take it from mom or dad. They're just more receptive sometimes to other people. And so it becomes our fight to continue to be in their lives and finding that balance between care and being overbearing. Trying to get them to understand, I'm in your life because I care, but I don't want to be overbearing. I want to show you things that you may not consider, but I don't want you just running out of control and out the door because you feel like, hey, not hearing me, not feeling me, not concerned about me. Just because you determine that, hey, I don't need to receive this from you. So mentorship, it's really a marvelous thing. Get that marvelous. Anyways, okay, so we've hit on our father's topic today. Before we do go, I want to encourage you all. If you've heard, I have come out with children's book, I Am Not a Monster. Again, it's a book where the character grows and develops and sees that he can overcome anything. And even when people don't appreciate him, people doubting him, speaking poorly of him, it's a good read. It's a positive read. It's a helpful read, and I encourage you. I almost want to challenge you that if you take the words to heart, that even if you're an adult, that you'll see that it helps to encourage and inspire you too. I'm just saying, it's easy for me to say because I wrote it. But yeah, I do believe that the book makes emotional connections with people, whether children or adult, based on the imagery as well as the words. So if you haven't gotten your book, it's available on a lot of different sources. It's available through Amazon, through Indie Books. I believe it's also available now on iTunes. But if you just type in I'm Not a Monster by Naaman G. Haig, it'll come up on a lot of different sources. If you're feeling all willy-nilly, you can even purchase it from overseas. It's selling in different parts of Europe and also in Australia. I know for a fact. So pick up a copy for children, for yourself. I believe it's just, honestly, plainly and clearly, I believe it's a helpful instrument and tool. So with that all being said, second Friday in April, we'll be back with more Father's Talk. We'll be back again on tomorrow for Day of the Sons, 5 p.m. on Saturday. Again, that's Day of the Sons, 5 p.m. on Saturday. So just want to encourage you. And that one's more exclusive for men, in reference to men and life before Christ, life in the church, and understanding and getting the firmer grasp and hold on that. So again, tomorrow, early evening, 5 o'clock, I encourage you to just become a supporter of the group, and that will permit and allow you to join the live stream when it goes up. All right. Well, until next time, I encourage you that there's still hope for us. And that's why it's important for fathers to talk. All right. Love you. See you again next time. Peace.